Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. Today is the first of what I hope is many of these episodes. It is a new video series that I'm doing called Open Money, where we just sit down with everyday people and have conversations about money in an open dialogue, talking about net worth and incomes and budgets. This episode features one of my very best friends. Her name is Chelsea. I've known her for years. She's actually the godmom to my dog, Peanut. So I really want to thank her for being on this very first episode and being so open and letting us all kind of see what she's doing with her finances.
My name is Chelsea. I'm 32 years old and I live in Vancouver, Washington.
And you have the added benefit of being one of my very best friends.
And I have that added benefit.
So the first question would obviously be, how much did your life improve when you met me?
A lot. In fact, when I was thinking about who influenced me into investing, you were the first one that came to mind. So
I like that. Well, my life improved exponentially by meeting you and being able to talk about finances and health and everything in general under the sun.
Exactly. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So I'm looking forward to it.
So what do your assets look like?
All right. So I wrote everything down. So excuse me for looking down, but my total assets are $859,000.
Okay. Wow. And how is that broken down?
So in retirement, I have $50,000, and that's just in a Roth IRA.
Awesome.
I have $15,000 in a brokerage account. I have $67,000 in checking and saving. Sounds like a hefty amount, but I am saving for something currently.
Yeah.
And then I have $695,000 in real estate.
695.
And that's so two properties. So I have a primary residence that's worth about $420,000.
Okay.
And a rental property that's worth about $275,000.
And are any of them paid off?
What was that?
Are any of them paid off?
They are not. So I owe $300,000 on the primary residence and $50,000 on the rental property. And then lastly, just personal property like a vehicle and other valuables is about $32,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you're obviously doing phenomenally.
Well, thank you. I do have a lot tied up in real estate, but
well, before we go into that, what do your debts look like? I know you said you have a mortgage on the properties of $300 and then about $50.
Yeah, so $350 total in mortgage debt. And I do use a credit card. I don't carry any balances though. So I will say I usually spend between $700 and $1,500 on my credit card monthly. Some of that's bills, gas, that kind of thing, but I do pay it off.
Perfect. So no other debt.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any other kind of debt? Any like student loans or anything like that?
Nothing like that. I did in college rack up about $2,000 in just spending credit card debts. And when I saw that first interest charge come through, I think I was making minimum wage at the time and it was like $50, and that was a lot of money. I realized I had to work like 4 or 5 hours to even make that. And
wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of motivation to never get into debt again.
Never again.
Yeah.
So with like no student loans, like scholarships, parents, things like that?
Scholarships, and my parents did help with college, so I was very lucky in that regard.
Same here, so I love it. Keeps us on a good footing to start out life, right?
Exactly.
So you said you were saving up for something, a pretty hefty balance of $67,000 in that checking and savings.
Yes. So I am getting married next year. I know, very exciting. So I'm saving up for a house for me and my fiance to buy together. So currently we keep all of our finances separate. So we're each kind of individually saving for a down payment on a house. The goal is to keep my personal residence that I live in now as a rental. So I'm saving separately for this down payment.
Okay. And do you have an area you're looking in for this house or anything?
We're looking to get a little bit outside of Vancouver. We currently live in Ridgefield, Washington, which is only 15 minutes outside of Vancouver, but we'd like a little bit more land. My current house is a condo. Feels like a house, but it is a triplex. So looking to just have a single family home on a little bit of land and get outside of the city a little bit.
Will this house have a guest room for me?
Definitely. Okay. That's definitely priority number one.
You buy the house, Tina and I will come visit.
And hopefully a place for us to work out too. I'm looking
Yes,
to have a gym.
I'm expecting a garage gym or something.
Exactly.
But my basement will be finished in like a month. Then you come this way.
Perfect.
So do you have a budget in mind for this house?
We're looking around 500,000, which I know sounds a little out there, but it's hard to find anything that we're looking for under that. So between 5 and 6.
And you're in an expensive part of the country.
I am, yes.
So what are your musts for this house? Is this going to be like your end house? Or are you going to continue buying different properties? Because you kind of have a trend.
I do have a trend. So I am a property manager for a living. That's what I do. So I've had really good success with my first rental. I think it's a great source of kind of passive income. It's been pretty passive in a personal regard anyway. So I do want to stay at this next house for a while. I don't know that it'll be a forever home, but forever for the foreseeable future anyway.
I get that.
Yeah.
What are you looking for in the property?
So I'd like at least an acre. I want to have a garden. We have a dog and a cat, so it'd be fun to have some land for them, a guest house for you, at least a garage or a shed or something for me to have a gym. My fiance runs his own business, so he does kind of maintenance and handyman services and stuff, so he'll need probably a garage for tools.
Just a shout out to Justin, who is like the most talented maintenance, repair, construction, like all around, just amazingly talented. Yes. So I mean, anything that goes wrong, he can fix it. He can make it prettier. He can he's the best.
Yeah, exactly. We both have kind of a huge passion for travel and just adventuring around here. We love to go to the coast and the mountains and stuff. So he would like to get an adventure van eventually, build it out. So we'd like a place to be able to do that.
Perfect. So, now, if you love to travel, do you have any travels coming up?
We are planning a wedding in Mexico in February. So that's the only thing that's on the books. But we'd like to at least do one big trip a year, I think.
Okay. I like that. Okay, weddings are notoriously very expensive. Yes. What's your budget for your wedding?
We actually are planning a very inexpensive wedding. So we're inviting just family only. I think we're keeping it under 3,000. I think the venue itself is about 1,500.
Wow.
Yeah, so with the dress, my mother is helping me out with the dress, so I'm very fortunate in that regard as well. But we're keeping it pretty inexpensive.
That's incredible. You actually have me beat because my wedding was like 4,000. So
yeah,
big kudos to you.
It might go over that with hotel and flights, which we haven't booked yet either. But we get a honeymoon kind of combo with the wedding, so we're looking forward to it.
I think that's the best way to do it, honestly, because if you have the ceremony here and then you have to travel somewhere, inevitably it's going to be more expensive. So why not just go someplace and do it?
Exactly.
And I like keeping it small just because I don't want to pay for everyone else. And I'm not a party person.
I'm not either. The place we chose, it's this beautiful beach and it has everything included. So you get food, the venue, of course, you get all of it included. So
awesome.
Easy,
and how long are you going to be down there?
Probably a couple weeks.
Couple weeks? I'm so jealous.
I know. I'm very excited.
I think actually like $2,000 for a couple weeks is amazing. I was expecting you to say, like 4 days, 5 days.
No, we're going to be down there for a couple weeks. So fortunately, Mexico's pretty affordable right now, luckily.
Maybe you need a second property there.
Maybe. I'm not against it.
The property, I'll come visit.
Vacation house next.
So you mentioned you're in property management and you have one tenant so far.
Yes.
Your own property. And then you're in a house right now that you're eventually going to have another tenant move into?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your experience in that field? What got you into it, what you like about it, and what it's been like working with your own tenants?
I love it. So I was in restaurant management and I was a server before. So that was the only experience I had. I didn't like the hours. And my mom worked as a real estate appraiser. I always have kind of loved real estate. So I thought it would be fun to get into. So I started part-time managing, part-time leasing at an apartment complex. Eventually worked my way up to be the manager of that complex. And now I have 2 apartment complexes that I'm running. One is under construction. And I'm also doing some commercial property management. So it kind of just seemed natural for me to go into property management with my own properties. So,
And how long have you been in property management? Did you say that?
5 years.
Wow, like to already be in commercial and managing 2 properties, that's pretty incredible in a
Yeah,
very young age.
it's very fun. I think I set myself up well, and I don't know if it was exactly planned at the time, but I bought a condo that was within my means at the time and lived there for, just lived there 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. No, not 5 years, 4 years. And then I moved up in house, rented that out. So yeah, it kind of was a natural progression. It's been great though. I would say because I work in property management, I have experience in finding good tenants and screening properly, but so far it's worked out great. And having my first mortgage covered by the tenant, and then I make extra on top of that to go towards my current mortgage and keeps my expenses very low.
And how has your experience with the tenant been?
Very good. I have a extremely good tenant. He just renewed for another year, so payments have all been on time, and I'm very fortunate. My fiance does maintenance and handyman services for a living, so anytime there is anything that comes up, he's able to.
He gets a honey-do list.
Handle that for me. Yes.
Well, I think you're marrying a good one. I mean, not just for the perks of that he can fix anything. He's pretty cool.
We make a good team.
Yes. Is that the goal, to build up and have more and more properties?
I think so. And the fun thing about this new house that I hopefully will live in is that I think we can start saving up to just buy properties to rent out without having to live in them. So
now, do you think as you get further with more properties, do you have a goal number in mind?
I don't. Just kind of taking it one at a time right now. But
will they all be local where you are?
I think so. I'm open to going elsewhere, but it is nice to be able to manage things locally and go over there if I need to. I've heard a lot of negative horror stories about long-term or long-distance rentals, so staying local for now.
And what about, so you work in property management, but then have your own properties on the side. Are you planning on staying in that field?
I do plan to, yes. Another cool goal would be to have some sort of tiny house or something on the property that we live in to do Airbnb, which I haven't done before, but that could be fun.
Well, you know it's my goal to live in a tiny home, so.
Oh, that would be where you can stay then.
Perfect, that's all I want. As long as you have enough space for me and Peanut, and he doesn't take up much space, but he needs a really big yard.
Oh, we got that. We'll get that.
Perfect. So is the long-term goal to stay in Vancouver, or do you have like any ambitions to move somewhere else? Or
we really like Washington State, so I know it gets kind of cold and rainy here throughout the year, so it would be nice to take off a lot of time to travel to sunnier places during the winter, but I think we'd like to stay somewhere in Washington.
I would prefer you stay there because I want to move back there.
It's lovely. My parents live a little bit further north up near Seattle, so I don't know if we'll eventually migrate towards them as they age, but for now we like this area a lot. So.
Or if you have enough properties, maybe they can move towards you.
I like that too.
I like that idea. Now, going back to your brokerage accounts, your Roths, so those are invested primarily in stocks, index funds, or what goes in?
So my retirement's pretty much, it's in a mutual fund, brokerage account, same thing. So I do have a little bit of money that I dabble with stocks and stuff, but not a lot. I like to keep it growing for the long haul.
That's the way I like it too. What stocks did you invest in?
I invested I did Tesla a while ago, so that helped. I have some REITs too, so I kind of like dabbling there, but I'm a little bit
extra real estate exposure.
Yeah, I know. I'm still new to investing, so I like to keep it pretty safe for the most part.
Hey, I like that. Now, if you keep it safe, primarily is it just index funds, or is there like any bonds? Is there anything like that?
I think I have, I honestly don't know, but I think I do have mostly index funds. I think there is a couple or some bonds, but it's a very, very low percentage.
Do you have any target date funds?
I do.
Okay.
Target. Yeah, so that's what my most of my brokerage account money is in.
Generally with target date funds, there'll be like a small exposure to bonds, and then as you get older.
Yep.
I may have remembered the target date funds thing for you.
Yes, thank you.
Do you have a goal that you're shooting for, like a net worth goal, like an age you want to be able to retire by, anything like that?
I'm lucky in that I love my job. So eventually I do want to slow down, maybe work a little bit less, have more free time. I'd like to get to a stage maybe in the next 5 to 10 years where I'm doing my own personal property management, not so much a full-time 9 to 5, although I do love it. So I don't have a specific retirement number, but I do like to keep goals that I can achieve all the time. And I'm always like moving that goalpost for sure. So I wanted to have a net worth of $500,000 by this birthday, which I have accomplished.
You have far exceeded it.
Yeah. And I'm hoping to get $1 million in the next, I don't know, hopefully before 35. And I want to keep going beyond that. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're at 859 minus the debts, right?
Yes. So I calculated 509. So
509 as your net worth today. By 35, and you're 30 now. I definitely
yes.
you'll be there, no problem.
Yes. I've also done compound interest calculating. So I know that I will be fine in the future if I keep up my savings rate. But
What does your savings rate look like?
my savings rate. I'm investing a little bit more than 25% of my income.
Okay.
I'm currently trying to save $3,000 a month just towards that down payment goal.
And that's outside of that 25% investments.
Correct. Yes.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it's a little heavy on the savings and investing right now, just because I am saving for something big. But
Can I ask what your pay is each month?
so currently I'm paying all of the expenses, so all of the mortgages and everything. I do have a fiance that I live with, so I pay for everything, tally it up, and he pays me at the end of the month. So with that portion, my tenant and my paycheck, I'm making about between $10,000 and $11,000.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Do you have a particular time where you really noticed like your income starting to snowball? Because you mentioned you started as a server.
Yes.
And so to go from being a server who I assume did not make around $10,000 a month.
No. It was very gradual. When I was serving, I was probably making $35,000 a year. And then I kind of worked my way up to management, but I was still only making between 40 and 50,000. And then I kind of took a pay cut at that rate to come into leasing as a part-time person, making about probably again 35 to 40. When I took over as manager originally, I was making probably $60,000. I've taken on other accounts for these owners, so it really started increasing in these past couple of years, I would say. And then that's also when I had my tenant. So my tenant has been in the condo since May of 2021.
Wow.
That's also the time that my fiance moved in with me and started splitting expenses. So
Yeah.
it's definitely been a drastic increase.
It definitely looks like even with like such a high income, because that's a great income, you're still saving like 50% between your investments and setting aside money for down payment.
Yes.
Awesome. And the plan once you get married would be to like split expenses continuing?
Probably. It's easy to do it that way. It's how we have been doing things. So yeah.
Do you guys plan to merge your finances?
Yes and no. We plan on probably combining for investment purposes because the more money you put in, the more it's going to grow. The more but we are going to keep things separate as well. Probably separate emergency funds. Just he runs his own business, so he wants to have a little bit extra because there's obviously inconsistencies there. And then with the tenants, I've beefed up my emergency fund as well because I have multiple properties with multiple places for things to go wrong.
But at least you're prepared for it.
Yes, exactly.
When you hear people make the comments of like, you're not truly in a relationship if you don't combine everything, like what are your thoughts on that?
I understand the point behind it because I do think there's a huge level of like trust in combining everything. But I think as long as you're on the same page and you feel like you're fully in it together, it doesn't really matter. And I do feel that way. I feel like if I was struggling with money, we would have each other's backs fully. And I think it's fair to each have our own cushions if we want it, and each have our own fun money too. I want him to be able to buy the things that he wants to buy without judgment, and vice versa. So
I kind of have the similar feelings as you. As you know, like our finances are very much like his, mine, and ours. Like we take care of the joint things together, but I have my own money, he has his own money. And I don't feel like it has any impact on the relationship. I think your relationship comes down to, are you committed to one another? And putting everything in the same bank account doesn't dictate that.
Exactly. I think if you're like 1 foot out for a reason and you're keeping money separate because you're not fully in it together, then that's a problem. But as long as you communicate and everything like that is clear, I think it doesn't affect the relationship.
Yeah, no hidden purchases or anything.
Exactly.
Unless I get another dog.
Yeah, same.
So now what does money mean to you? What does
money mean to me?
Yeah, like why do you save? Or
the cliche thing first. Obviously it means freedom, security. I think more recently it's been fun. Like it's fun to have money to spend. There were so many years I was just socking away money to try and get my own place and start investing. And for the first time I feel like I can say yes to all the things that I want and buy fun things. I just bought a new couch because my old couch, I didn't like it. And it's fun to be able to get those things. So
we have a new couch coming. It's on order 3 months.
Best purchase of my life.
Right.
I think the financial peace of mind is most important. I don't stress about money hardly ever anymore. And it was a huge point of stress in my life when I was in debt and saw that first interest charge, or when I was kind of living paycheck to paycheck, trying to build up savings. So, just when things come up, it's just a minor inconvenience. I had my cell phone broke. I bought a new couch. I need a new bed. I found out my bed is 20 years old, and we both are having back pain at 32 years old, which is not okay. So 3 major things just came up, and it was nice to be able to either cash flow them or use my credit card and pay it off immediately.
My mom has the attitude that bad things come in 3s. So like your cell phone, the couch, and the bed. So like even if you have 2 things happen, she's like, just wait, something else is coming.
Exactly. So hopefully I'm done there, but it was a very expensive one.
That's the 3, and that's Mary's rule. So you're good. You can just
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to share?
At any age and wherever you're at income-wise, I think it's doable. Sometimes it requires getting multiple roommates and maybe not the nicest apartment. Obviously safety was important to me, but I had 4 roommates at one point, and I'm a very independent person. I was an only child. I liked being alone a lot. So I didn't love having roommates, but I knew it was a short-term thing to be able to reach long-term goals. So, I think start making those sacrifices young, and hopefully they don't last too long.
I love it. I think you're doing incredible. I mean, I think incredible is probably an understatement. I think you're doing just beyond amazing, because it's very, very young to have 2 properties, saving for your 3rd, over $500,000 in net worth by your 30th birthday. I'm so proud of you. Like, yeah, I think you're incredible, and I think you're just doing amazing. And I think pretty much any goal you have, I bet you're going to hit it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you doing this.
Of course, I enjoy talking about finance with you all the time. So I was happy
Every
to do
day
it.
of the week. That's why we're besties.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too. It was great chatting with you.
What do you guys think of this series? Please share your thoughts in a comment down below. As you know, I read every single one of them and I reply to as many as I possibly can. I hope you're as excited about it as I am. I think this is a phenomenal way to get the dialogue rolling about money. We have a lot of people who've already signed up to do it, and if you're interested in this series and participating, all you have to do is send me an email at erintalksmoney@gmail.com. I'll reply and we can get it all scheduled. I'm really excited excited to talk to as many of you as want to participate. There's no criteria. All that matters is that you're willing to talk about your finances in an open forum and then have it posted online for the world to see. So let me know, reach out. I'd love to talk with you. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye.